Taiko is my voice. It is my loud voice. And so I use it that way sometimes.
If you listen, you can hear the banging of Japanese taiko drums throughout the Puget Sound. Taiko, the Japanese word for drum, is an ancient art that goes back to 500 BC. Today, it is a modern performance art focused on heart-pounding, dynamic percussion that includes music, choreography, physicality, and culture. Taiko has roots in Japanese folklore. It is told that these drums rid the world of darkness when the sun goddess was coaxed out of her cave by the goddess of dawn, who danced on an empty sake barrel. This sound resulted in a thunderous beat that was also said to bring rain. In ancient Japan, taiko drums were played along with other instruments for theatrical events like kabuki, and to enhance imperial and religious ceremonies. Taiko was widely used for communication. It assisted in mounting various armies by adding the booming of the big drums to help with commands, or communication between villages. It is said that Japanese villages were built about as far apart as a taiko message could be carried. Taiko arrived in the U.S. with Japanese immigrants in the 1900s. Then, taiko drumming was reimagined in the 1950s when a Japanese jazz musician brought taiko into the modern era. Daihachi Oguchi took ancient rhythms, broke them down, and created new arrangements to accommodate an ensemble of drummers. This form of group drumming is called kumi taiko. This powerful drumming grew in popularity in the Japanese and Asian communities in the U.S. because of its strong sense of empowerment that played against prevailing stereotypes. Taiko has enjoyed a resurgence not only in Japan, where you will find more than 4,000 taiko ensembles, but also in North America, where there are now more than 500 taiko groups. And what was once considered an instrument just for men in Japan has attracted many women players. In fact, women taiko players outnumber male players around the world. Here in Tacoma, 74-year-old Wendy Hamai dreamed of playing taiko drums when she witnessed her first performance in the late 1970s.
I went to my first Folklife festival and wandered around and heard these drums, loud drums, but they were far away. And so I just followed the sound of the drum and found them in a small side stage. And I knew right away watching them that that was something I wanted to do. It was the first taiko group in the Northwest from Vancouver. There were women and men. There were women playing, and I looked at them and said, "Oh, I could be like her." You know, the thing about the drums was that, you know, drumming is such a primal thing, and every culture has it. And now taiko, you know, has an appeal to much broader community than Asian Americans and Japanese Americans, but initially that was a really powerful force for the development of taiko, because finally, you know, I saw something about my heritage and my culture that wasn't geisha, that wasn't Asian doll, that wasn't the stereotypes of being quiet or demure or passive, sometimes submissive. that was so strong and empowering, and you could really feel that in the drumming that group did and shared with us. And it was 30 years before I actually did get to play, and that was great.
Wendy finally got to bang the drum when she and others at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple got together and formed a Taiko group in 2009.
A few of us at the temple for years had talked about, wouldn't it be great to do something with Taiko at the temple? And went on year after year. And finally, 1 year after being inspired by attending the Northwest District, the North American Taiko Conference in Seattle, and realizing that I'm getting older, we called a meeting for anyone who is interested in wanting to do something, whatever that would be with Taiko. And we were very lucky because Bobby Yotsui, a former member, quickly came on board. And he had grown up in the temple, was now back in town, had Taiko experience, and wanted to start a group. And so, we had a temple contest for what our name would be. And that was Fuji Taiko, because Fuji refers to Mount Rainier, because a lot of the first immigrants from Japan, because Mount Rainier is so magnificent, reminded them of Mount Fuji. And so Fuji Taiko. And then we, several of us developed and, got a member artist to help us design a logo. So we have an outline of Mount Rainier with a moon over it and clouds around. The moon has incorporated in the roundness the mon, or the symbol of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, our sect, which is wisteria, draping downward. And that's the symbol of humility. So that was the original, the early logo for Fuji Taiko.
Bobby Yotsue took a less direct route. He began banging the Taiko drum in Albuquerque, New Mexico when he was in the Air Force.
I was stationed in two places when I was in the Air Force. One was Omaha, Nebraska, the other one was Albuquerque, New Mexico. So by the time I moved to Albuquerque, I was very culturally deprived of my own culture. And so there's a Japanese American Citizens League there that had a Taiko group. And growing up, seeing Seattle Matsuri Taiko perform at our obons and their obons and White River's obons, I kind of had a semblance of what Taiko should look like, and it wasn't necessarily what they were performing. And so Calvin Kobayashi, the leader of the group, basically took me under his wing and allowed me to take over the group. And we had a couple of exchanges with San Francisco Taiko Dojo, in San Jose, Taiko, and so I had 4 years basically playing with them in 1994 to 98, and then I got out of the Air Force and was flying in different locations basically, and didn't have an opportunity to necessarily participate in Taiko until we moved back here to Tacoma, and then we started the group back in 2009.
Bobby's connection to the Tacoma Buddhist Temple goes back generations.
Yes, I was born and raised here in the temple, and so 3 generations. My grandfather helped build the temple back in the day, and so that strong, cohesive family environment and the temple basically, everybody in the temple basically helped raise me. So I feel an obligation basically to give back to the community and the temple, and so starting the group here and participating in their events basically is something I need to do. I don't have to do, and so I just feel privileged to keep my boys interested in participating in temple events and contributing back to the community as well.
Bobby says there are about 16 or 18 current members of Fuji Taiko today who perform for many events at the temple and beyond.
We primarily, since we're associated with the temple, we support the temple in pretty much any manner. And so wherever they need us, we'll participate in. But our primary two performances are Obon, Bonodori, which is our Japanese street festival held in August, and then the New Year's party that we hold basically in January. You know, anybody can basically have us participate. We've participated in weddings, so primarily family weddings, and so we don't get paid or anything. It's just like something that is interesting to do.
Wendy leads a community Taiko education and outreach program at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple that does not do public performances, but participants learn about Taiko and practice the choreography and drumming for the fun and joy of it.
At the end of the first year of Fuji Taiko, we did a workshop for friends in the community and temple members, because many of them were really interested but couldn't join in on the regular weekly practices. Out of that workshop, what the feedback we got was it would be really nice to have an opportunity to learn and play Taiko without commitment to real regular practices, as well as the desire not to perform. and I can understand that. So out of that feedback, I started the Open Taiko program, which is essentially, I do a lot of instruction on especially beginning level Taiko, and I'm also go out into the community and do different kinds of things. The goal of Open Taiko has been to make Taiko more accessible, to educate people about Taiko, and also to promote Taiko in the local area. We had a good 2-year hiatus at least during the COVID shutdown, but after things started happening again, started doing Open Taiko, but I renamed it to Isho Open Taiko. Isho is a word for together, because I thought that, after not being able to do this for 2 years, a lot of us needed to be together and play and learn and enjoy Taiko again. So along with the monthly sessions where I do a lot of instruction and we play short songs that I write, and I try to do it so that these songs are fun, learnable in one session, that people who are brand new, they've never been there before, and people who have come to sessions fairly regularly can actually learn it, play with each other. Sometimes we have little playoffs, and then and have a good time.
For years and years, decades and decades, I played my clarinet, and my clarinet decided to stop working on me. So I took a break from music for a little while, but I still was drawn to it. And also for many decades, I've been watching Taiko players and been fascinated with them, Wendy included, and really always wanted to try it. So since I was not doing the community band anymore, I decided to give Taiko a try. And it brought me great joy. And I was incredibly impressed with how Wendy gave us a foundation as new players, but then quickly pulled us in to a place where we felt like we could play together with some skill, even though we were brand new.
I love Taiko, and I feel it's a connection with myself and my culture of Japan, and also the opportunity to play with Sensei Wendy at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple is a real privilege. The sound of the drumming just resonates through my soul, and it just makes me happy.
So along with the monthly sessions, I also have done things in the community to promote Taiko, and this has been like team building, Taiko team building for organizations or businesses, teaching Japanese language school student a song to perform at their multicultural night. Funnest thing was UPS World Music class doing an 80-minute lecture. Amazing field trip down at the temple with 20-25 students drumming, and also tried to support emerging Taiko groups in Tacoma, like Pierce College Wadaiko Club, as well as the UPS Yumi Daiko.
I had such a wonderful time playing Taiko with Wendy at the Isho Open Taiko sessions at the temple. She's such an energetic, exciting teacher, so much spirit. And she did me the huge favor of coming to the University of Puget Sound to talk to my world music class. And then she and Donna invited us to the temple for a field trip, and all the students got to play the drums.
Collegiate Taiko drumming began in North America at UCLA in the 1990s, and you can hear the Taiko beat at several South Sound campuses today.
I founded Taiko Club Yumi Daiko at UPS in 2014 because I was deeply impressed with their energy and the power, so I wanted to have the whole campus experience the power and also sharing the Japanese culture.
I play taiko drums in order to better connect with my Japanese roots, to better understand Japanese culture, and as just a stress reliever. You know, just beating a drum, it really is a great way to let all your just anger and tension out. Also, it's like I probably think the only Japanese-specific club on campus besides like School of Japanese really and such, which unfortunately I don't speak Japanese, so I can't participate in that, but taiko is something that's very accessible to people like me and other people who really want to experience Japanese culture, which I really like about it.
I really like it because it just allows me to play drums and perform music in ways that I've never had a chance to before as a classical musician. My performance, I feel, is enhanced by it. And of course, then the twice a week when we rehearse, I just feel so energized afterwards. Then the exhaustion hits, but there's just that immediate rush of energy of getting to perform with the community and you can just feel the drums in your chest as you're playing them, and it's such a rush to get twice a week.
I participate in this Taiko club because I'm very interested in the culture, in the Japanese culture. I'm interested in the Taiko drums itself. I've always wanted to play instruments in regards of like drumming and drums. So once I saw the Taiko, I was like, I want to get to that because I also am a pro Taiko no Tatsujin player, which is a Taiko Wadaiko game.
I was very lucky because I got to see the many Japanese students at the Pierce College, and I got interested in the Wadaiko and the music instrument. Wadaiko made a difference in life of me. I'm able to improve my skills, such as English, music instrument, and Wadaiko. Also, I would like to share the Wadaiko, what it is, with many people all over the world right now. That's why.
I joined Taiko or Wadaiko because I'm originally from Okinawa, Japan, and in Okinawa, Japan, we have these specific type of drum. It's different from the Wadaikos. You carry around versus the Wadaiko, it's on the ground. And I've been missing home, so I thought this would be a good way to reconnect with my home. Yeah.
And these Taiko and Wadaiko drummers will be the future of Japanese drumming here in Tacoma. But there's a lot to learn before you start banging the Taiko drum.
Okay, what I'm going to be doing now is talking about some of the basic principles and concepts of Taiko, and also showing you all the different drums. Well, not all of them, but some of the common type of drums that you'll see played when you see a Taiko group perform these days. Well, the first thing, of course, is group work, especially when you're seeing a performing group play. Group work is essentially teamwork, and it involves all the usual elements. You know, when you have a group of people coming together to work towards a common goal, and that goal could be to do the best performance you can, or the goal could be just to play and have fun. It depends on what that particular group is like, and there are all sorts of different kinds of groups that way. Another key principle is technique. Technique is the how-to, or and the mechanics of playing a drum. That would be along the lines of how to hold your bachi, your drumstick, because there are different types of grips, and the key thing that I stress is how to hold it in a way that you don't injure yourself. I focus on that a lot in technique and mechanics. Kata. Kata is, people who have taken martial arts are familiar with this term, because kata is a way of practicing different movements, different blocks, and they actually create sort of a dance in terms of moving from one thing to another, to another, to another. But kata in Taiko is what makes it a really strong visual art, as well as something that you listen to. It basically is the physical form and the style of playing. The other and last principle, but there are many others that you could talk about, is ki. And ki essentially relates to the energy and the spirit of a song. To me, ki is really important. It's the mental, the physical, the mind, body, and the emotional, or the spirit. And for me, this is what makes playing Taiko a mind, body, spirit practice or experience. So these drums, right in front of me, onto the actual drums, are shime daiko, or shime, called shime for short. These are short-bodied and again, you know, leather heads. This is rope-tied, this is boat-tied, but shime is a much higher pitched drum than all of the other drums. And oftentimes, the role of the shime in a song is to provide a very steady backbeat. Okay, so this drum is sitting higher. This drum here, the drum itself, is an example of kind of a mid-sized, long-body drum. We call it Nagado Taiko, or commonly called Chu Taiko. And comes in many different sizes, but essentially they're long-bodied, so they have a much deeper sound. And you can hear that. There's one song in particular that involves a lot of movement of the arms like that. This is another Chu Taiko, and as I explained with the other drum, which is bigger and more resonant, that oftentimes is on this stand. This is a stand to play an odaiko, daiko, kind of honorific biggest drum. And they can get really big, and with 5-foot span heads, but they're also very expensive and very, very hard to move around. But anyway, so most groups will use the biggest Chu Taiko they have. to serve as an odaiko. It's oftentimes that's also the drum with the deepest and most resonant sound. But in this case, in an odaiko position, the stance, how you stand, is really different. And so you're low because your head is, more on the lower half of the drum in front of you, and when you and you're drumming like this, so it could be like. So again, you still get a pretty good deep sound from this. An odaiko doesn't usually play the same rhythms that the main song rhythms that the other chu taiko is playing, but more of a loud, complementary background rhythm. But one of the things that I wanted to do was use this to demonstrate kata and ki, a little bit more about energy. So ki, example of ki is, I've seen performances where pretty much people are playing like this. The players are like this. And it was the feeling that you get from that type of playing is very different than if you hear it and see it like this. When you look like you're not really enjoying what you're doing, that makes a difference in terms of how the audience feels about it. That's where the energy comes in, in terms of what people feel from the song that you're trying to play. This will also show you what difference kata can make to what a song feels like. So here's a rhythm pattern of what I'm going to demonstrate with some kata. Okay, so that's the pattern. And this is the same thing with kata. So this is, and the style of this song is very flowing, as opposed to very straight lines. Anyway, it's one of my favorite songs. That's it.
The Tacoma Buddhist Temple sponsors Isho Open Taiko and Fuji Taiko for opportunities to learn taiko in temple and public performances. How does this drumming fit into Buddhist philosophy?
Part of our philosophy in taiko basically is to respect pretty much every aspect of taiko, like the cow that provided us with the hide, and the tree that provided us with the body of the drums. And Buddhism is a very respectful religion to me. And so I think maybe the blend of taiko and Buddhism comes in that respect, where we respect basically everything that is provided for us. That's how it combine maybe Buddhist philosophy and taiko.
Well, Buddhism has strongly influenced how I live my life, and therefore it affects how I approach playing and teaching Taiko. It's also integral for me. You know, one of the teachings, main teachings, is gratitude. The temple has, and I feel a lot of that for the temple. It has supported and been a home for Taiko in the area. I'm grateful that I had a group to help start and play with for so many years. I so appreciate the many other Taiko players and professionals who so generously shared much of their spirit and what they know with me, particularly my instructor for 5 years, Tyrone Nakawatase. Dana is another Buddhist concept I think really strongly weaves in here. Dana is all about giving. So to me, doing Taiko in this way is one of the best ways for me to give back to the temple. All the donations and the honorariums that come in for Isha Open Taiko, IoT for short, are given to the temple to help support the temple, as well as the goodwill that comes in the community from doing something like this. And so the temple receives something. What I receive is, and I'm not supposed to, the true concept of Dana, but what I receive is a lot of pleasure in being able to support the temple in this way, but also providing something to people that they will really enjoy and really have fun learning. Another Buddhist concept that I think is really important is interdependence. That is, we depend on each other and recognize that whatever we do, what my actions also affect many others, and vice versa. COVID shutdown example was a really good example of a lesson in interdependence. The other way to look at it is we create ripples in our lives. And it's like when you drop a rock and you see the ripples going out, and then you see ripples from other rocks intersecting with what you've created. So that's part of the way I look at Taiko in terms of what I hope to do. I hope it's created a lot of positive ripples.
Taiko drumming is not just a cultural and spiritual experience, but can have other benefits as well.
The benefits for me and my family basically is, well, like I said, we contribute back to the community and the temple. We get more in tune with our culture. It feels nice just to beat a drum. To put together a good performance, not necessarily a great performance, but a happy, we have fun out there. And that's all I care about, basically. You don't necessarily have to have a beat, but you have to have fun.
I think Taiko has a lot of mental, physical, and emotional benefits. I really think of it as a mind, body, spirit sort of practice. There's been studies in Japan that have been done that really show specifically a lot of physical benefits, particularly Taiko and aging people. And some Taiko groups have really made it a focus for what they do along with the regular performing Taiko, and have programs for older people, people with disabilities, people with Parkinson's. There are actually many different kinds of programs now. I think that, for me, Taiko has been a really important part of healing and rehab, particularly after getting cancer surgery, chemotherapy, complications from that during the pandemic. And it gave me motivation and goal to really work to get better. And and that was really important. I've heard a few other people who also had cancer speak of Taiko that way too, in terms of giving us hope that we'll enjoy things again after being so diminished by the treatment. I've been focusing a lot on Taiko and aging. In fact, recently another woman and I were able to do the first time presentation dealing with Taiko and an aging population or aging players at the North American Taiko Conference. And it was just amazing. The reception that we had was just amazing. The number of people who signed up, the feedback we got afterwards, and what I found out was, there are a lot of people out there who are wondering the same thing. How can I continue to play Taiko in a way that works for me as I get older? How can I still engage with the community? And left the conference and in a ongoing discussion group that I facilitate now, that includes people from different states. How can we continue ideas and people feel like there's some hope for them other than just slowly fading away.
Wendy, tell us more about this term, Onibaba.
Okay, so Onibaba is a term that actually I came up, well, I didn't really come up with it, but I've had on my mind for almost as long as I've drummed. You have to remember I started when I was near 60. And Baba means old woman. It can have kind of a negative connotation, hag, or it can be very affectionate, like grandmother. Oni is the word for demon. And, but in the sense that we're using it, it's not demonic in the sense of being evil, but rather portrayal of strength and power, wisdom, and spirit. So that became the theme of our discussion at that North American Taiko Conference. Had T-shirts made with a logo on it that portrays a demon like this, and with hair flying, and it was a wonderful logo. People loved it, and my son Kenji still made it. So hopefully, what we did was to start a ripple through Onibaba.
Wendy is often seen with her drum at various social justice demonstrations around our community, as in Onibaba.
I should clarify that what I'm doing when I'm at rallies and using my drum, that I'm doing this as an independent solo taiko player. And that's probably my Onibaba persona, and not on behalf of the Tacoma Buddhist Temple. A friend that I run into periodically at these rallies saw me once recently. He says, "Where's your drum?" And I said, he said, "I'm not used to seeing you without your drum anymore." So I guess I can be sort of a have drum will travel person. In a way, it's my way of being able to stand up for and support those efforts in our community that I think are important. I'm not going to march in protests anymore. And I'm not going to speak at rallies around women's reproductive rights like I did many years ago. But I can still show my support because through my drum, I can still have a very loud voice.
When you witness the loud voice of Taiko, you feel it in your whole body. It's a thunderous, echoing reverberation that can be up to 120 dB, the same range as the noise of a jet engine or loud thunder. This allows for a whole body immersive and unforgettably joyous event.
I love opening the window to Taiko, to the whole world of Taiko, which is pretty big, and watch them be excited and learn. It gives me a lot of pleasure. And there's a lot to be said about providing something that brings that enjoyment, brings spirit, brings relief and release, which I think we really need these days in particular. And that being able to do that is especially meaningful.
Taiko drumming offers a meaningful and pleasurable experience for performers and audience members alike. And you can hear and feel the banging of Taiko drums right here in Tacoma, shared with your community by your neighbors.
Thank you for letting me play with you. It was lots of fun. Thank you.
Thank you.